Adidas. Of all the brands at the 2026 World Cup, Adidas holds a position no other company can claim. The German sportswear giant has supplied the official match ball for every single World Cup since 1970. That ball is not just equipment, it is a piece of intellectual property that generates millions in licensing and retail revenue simply by existing at the center of every match. Beyond the ball, Adidas outfits some of the most followed national teams on earth, including Germany, Argentina, Spain, and Japan, which means their logo appears on screen for billions of viewers every time those teams play. Inside stadiums, no competing sportswear brand can advertise, even display a logo. Nike, despite outfitting more teams in this tournament than any other brand, cannot run a single official activation inside any World Cup venue. Coca-Cola. Few brands in history have stayed loyal to a single partner as long as Coca-Cola has stayed loyal to FIFA. The relationship stretches back nearly 5 decades, making it one of the longest-running sponsorships in global sport. For 2026, Coca-Cola runs the FIFA World Cup Trophy Tour, a global campaign where the actual trophy travels to over 50 countries before the tournament begins, with Coca-Cola branding present at every single stop. Inside stadiums, Coca-Cola owns the non-alcoholic beverage category entirely. Pepsi, despite spending heavily on player endorsements and football campaigns every 4 years, cannot legally set foot inside a single World Cup stadium. Hyundai and Kia, the South Korean automotive group, has been a FIFA partner since 1999, making it one of the longer-standing relationships at the top tier. The two brands operate as a single commercial unit under their parent company. So both Hyundai and Kia receive branding rights and stadium visibility simultaneously. Their presence at the 2026 World Cup serves a specific purpose beyond football. North America, the primary host territory, is one of the most competitive automotive markets on earth, and both brands have been aggressively expanding their electric vehicle lineup there. A tournament watched by over 300 million people in the United States alone gives Hyundai and Kia a window to shift consumer perception from affordable Asian import to globally recognized modern automotive brand. Official team and player transport at major tournaments is typically provided by the automotive sponsor, which means both brands appear in broadcast footage every time a squad bus arrives at a stadium. Visa holds the exclusive financial services rights for the 2026 tournament, which means it is the only card accepted at official stadium stores, hospitality suites, and fan festival payment points across all 16 host cities. MasterCard, despite being one of the most recognized financial brands on earth, is completely shut out. 48 nations worth of fans arriving from different countries, carrying different currencies, needing to spend money at speed inside tightly controlled venues. Visa's contactless and digital wallet systems handle every transaction, and each one reinforces the brand's core message that wherever football takes you, Visa is already there. Budweiser. The beer category at the World Cup has a complicated recent history. In Qatar 2022, Budweiser had its stadium alcohol sales banned just days before the tournament began because of local laws, leaving the brand with millions in unsold product and one of the most widely covered sponsor controversies in sporting history. For 2026, the situation is entirely different. Anheuser-Busch, the parent company behind Budweiser and Michelob Ultra, holds the official beer category rights across all venues in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, with no such restrictions in place. Michelob Ultra specifically created the Superior Player of the Match trophy, a new award presented after all 104 matches, with winners chosen by fan votes. That mechanic gives the brand a reason to be mentioned after the final whistle of every single game in the tournament. McDonald's. The fast food chain has been associated with FIFA since 1994, the year the United States last hosted the World Cup, making 2026 a particularly meaningful return. McDonald's sits in the second tier of FIFA's commercial structure as an official World Cup sponsor, meaning its rights are specific to this tournament rather than across all FIFA events. As the exclusive quick service restaurant partner, every competing fast food chain is locked out of official venues, fan festivals, and digital activations for the duration of the competition. McDonald's has historically used the World Cup to run its player escort program, where children walk alongside players as they step onto the pitch before matches. That single activation generates enormous goodwill and consistent broadcast visibility at effectively zero marginal cost once the sponsorship fee is paid. The brand renewed its partnership through the 2030 World Cup, which signals that for McDonald's, the connection to football at the highest level remains one of its most valuable long-term marketing investments anywhere on Earth. Qatar Airways. The airline has served as FIFA's official global carrier since 2017, and the partnership runs through 2030. For 2026, Qatar Airways handles the long-haul transportation of teams, officials, and FIFA staff traveling from Asia, the Middle East, and Europe into North American airports. The airline cooperates with American Airlines on domestic connections between host cities, since no single carrier could manage the full scope of a tournament spread across 16 cities in 3 countries and 4 time zones. Qatar Airways has used its FIFA partnership aggressively in its broader marketing. Association with the most watched sporting event on Earth positions the airline alongside the most recognized brands in existence by Jews. The Indian education technology company entered FIFA's sponsorship ecosystem ahead of the 2022 Qatar World Cup, becoming the first edtech brand to ever sponsor the tournament at an official level. For 2026, however, the Byju's story has become significantly more complicated. The company, which was once valued at over $22 billion and was India's most valuable startup, has faced serious financial difficulties, including legal disputes, delayed employee salaries, and questions over its accounting practices. Its continued association with FIFA amid those challenges has drawn attention in both the sports business and technology press. What began as an ambitious global branding move by one of Asia's fastest-growing companies now reflects something far more uncertain, or a sponsorship signed at the peak of a valuation that the company has since struggled to sustain